All right, so we just finished up questions 5 and 6. I'd like to go ahead and jump down. We are going to skip, well, actually, let's do number 7 together for a moment, and then I'll have you try number 8 on your own. So for question number 7, again, I see a triangular prism. So I'm going to start with those triangles times 2 because there's a front and a back. And so for those triangles, I'm going to start with that 0.5 because we always cut a triangle in half. I am going to find my right angle because the base and the height should form a right angle. And I'm going to go ahead and trace. It looks like the base here is this 12 inches. And the height, make sure that you're using the height from the right angle, is 7.8 times 12 times 7 and 8/10. So when I multiply those, I'm getting 46 and 8/10. But there are 2 triangles, so we will double that to get 93 and 6/10 for my triangles. I am next going to look at the bottom shape here. And I can see that my bottom is a rectangle. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to trace those 2 dimensions. So my rectangle is 4 inches by 12 inches. So I will multiply 4 times 12. And my bottom is 48. And then to me, I kind of now have like a left-sided rectangle, and then on the back side, I can see I've got this right-sided rectangle. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to start with this left side. And again, what you name these is totally up to you. I'm calling it the left because when I look at this shape, I see the left, but if you see something different, call it what you see it, as long as you get all of the sides. So my left side, I am referring to this one right here. That is 4 inches wide again. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to follow that side up. And when I'm following that up, I don't see an exact label. That's 7.8. That goes to the back part right there. But this 9 inches from the back of this rectangle ends up being the height. So I'm going to multiply 4 by 9 because that's the height of my rectangle. And that is 36. And since I called that my left side, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to call the other one the right side. And for this right side here, I'm talking about this shape here. So at the back, I can see, again, it is 4 inches wide. So I'm using that 4 again, and it's okay to use it more than twice because we're not doing the rectangles anymore. We're doing triangles. So 4 wide. And then if I follow that up, I can easily see that this one is 11 inches tall. So I'll multiply 4 by 11, which gives me 44. And so to get my total area, I want to make sure, don't forget about this 93 and 6/10 from up at the top. When I am adding all those together, I'm getting 221 and 6/10. We're measuring in inches squared. So what I would like from you guys right now is to go ahead and take a look at number 8. And I want the video paused. I want you to try number 8 on your own. It's probably going to take 3, 4, maybe even 5 minutes. But once the class has finished finding that total surface area, you can press play and listen to my explanation for number 8. So for number 8 here, just like always, I highly recommend that you start with those triangles. So I'm going to start with my 0.5 or my 1/2 for my triangle here. Angles, you guys always have to form that right angle, which luckily this one has. So I'm going to follow that right angle up. And from the bottom here, I can see that that is 5 yards. And if I follow my right angle over, from the bottom here, I can see that one is 12. So we will multiply that out. to get 30. And then because it's a triangle, we have a top and a bottom, we're going to double it to give us 60 for the top and the bottom there. And then next up, I am going to look at the back. And again, if you called these something different, it's okay if you went in a different order. That's okay too. All right. I am looking at the back and I am seeing that it is 8 yards tall and it is 13 yards wide and it's a rectangle at the back there. So somewhere in your work, whether you called it the back or the front or whatever you called it, you should have multiplied 8 times 13. Because that is one of the dimensions that you should have. When I multiply that out, I am getting 104. And then I'm kind of seeing again, I'm going to call this the left side. If you called it something different, it's okay. I'm kind of looking at this little chunk right here. So somewhere in your paper, you should have a rectangle that's 8 yards tall, 5 yards wide to give you 40. And then this last piece here, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to call this on the right side because to me it's kind of opposite of that last. And I'm going to call it the right side here. It's the opposite of the left side almost, kind of, sort of. And I can easily tell that this one is 12 yards wide times by 8 yards tall. So I'm going to multiply 12 by 8. To give me 96. So for your total area, make sure you add all of those together, including that 60 up at the top. And I am getting 300 square yards for my final answer for number 8.